Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Day, and in this 5-part series, I'm going to be explaining why it's important to choose the right cloud storage for your business to make sure that you are protecting your data and keeping everything safe and accessible from everywhere. This first lecture is all about just giving you the lowdown about what cloud storage is and how it works. I'm then talking about really important stuff, how you protect your data, making sure that anyone you share stuff with can access it, but also that you own control of that. So when they leave your company, they can't delete and take that work with them. It's really important for when working with temporary workers, but also any staff. You want to make sure that anything they create while they're working for you is yours when they leave, and I'll explain how to do that. We'll talk about business shared drives as a means to really effectively protect your data. Business shared drives are something that a lot of people aren't familiar with. There's a cost involved with them, so people often don't look at them. But actually, it can be a really cheap and effective way, if done right, to make sure that you are protecting your data in the most effective and manageable way. I'll then cover iCloud, Microsoft, Google, and Dropbox, and a few others as well, just to give you the lowdown on what the differences are between those when you're making your choice. And then finally, in the last part, I'll be talking about what I recommend is the solution to go for based on what you're currently using, or if you're new to cloud storage, then I'll give you our recommendation, the one that we use in our business. So let's get started. In this presentation, I'm going to be talking about local storage versus cloud storage. I'm going to be talking about two of the main problems with local storage that you need to avoid. Local storage is obsolete nowadays. You need to be using cloud storage to protect your data, to make sure you have a backup, make sure it's accessible from everywhere. I'm going to talk about that. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about cloud storage, so you're very clear on what that is. So first of all, local versus cloud storage. Local storage simply means it's on your computer or on a USB stick or an external hard drive. It's basically something that's in your house or in your office. It's on a physical device. And if that device was to get lost or stolen or broken, you would then in fact lose your data. Cloud storage, on the other hand, is in the internet. You upload any files or documents that you create. It sits in the cloud, so in the internet, and you can then access that from anywhere using any device. You can sync it directly to your computer, so you can have an offline version of that on your local computer. So when you don't have internet connection, you can still get on with your work. But really importantly, as soon as you do have internet, it backs everything up, as in it syncs what you're doing on your computer with the cloud. That means it's safe, it's stored, it's backed up, and it means also you can access it from any device, which is a really useful thing. I'll explain why as we go through. So, problems with local storage for anyone still not convinced cloud storage is needed. Say this is you and you've created a bunch of documents here. The problem is that if you lose your computer, it gets broken, it gets stolen from your house, you have a fire, heaven forbid, then that data is lost. So any work you've done is completely lost if you lose the device that it's on or that breaks. And hard drives break. USB sticks get corrupted. You can very easily lose data if it's stored on a single device. Also, when you're working with an employee and they have data that's stored on their computer, well, if that person was to leave, then you would lose all that information. You wouldn't have access to it and no way to get it back unless they were kind enough to send you that either as an attachment in an email or send you a USB stick. And if you just let somebody go from your company or they've left on bad terms, it's very unlikely that they're going to be wanting to actually go out their way to make your life easier. So data loss is a real concern if you are still storing all of your information on a local drive, and therefore you need to think about how you're going to do things differently. Cloud storage is that solution. So next thing I want to talk about is conflicted copies. So say if you produce some work and then you share it with somebody, say you send it via email as an attachment, or you stick it on a USB stick and give it to somebody and they make some edits on that work. If you've sent this to one person, or in this example, 2 people, they both make some comments or some edits, and then you've now got 3 copies of exactly the same file, but all with different information on, because each of you has made your own edits on the files that you've sent them. They're not synced in any way. These are 3 separate files. So now you have this problem as when they send back their edited version to you, you've got to deal with 3 different copies and somehow bring all that back together. That can take a lot of time and is a total waste of time because you can avoid it entirely by using cloud storage and sharing the information online, so people edit an online version which is then synced, so they can edit offline, it syncs online. But the key thing is that you have everything in the cloud, in the internet, so that your copy is synced directly with the cloud. Anyone making edits can access that in the cloud, make their edits, and then those changes are then synced directly with the copy on your computer. So you have a local copy, but it's also in the cloud. It's on the internet. And therefore anyone else making edits the copy that you're all working on together. That means you don't end up with 2 or 3 or more copies of a single file. There's one instance of it, it's stored in the cloud, you can all access it, and you can all edit it in real time as well. So using the cloud allows you all to edit a single document at the same time. This means you can collaborate more easily as well. You can always back up your cloud. So if you're worried about all of your data being stored in the cloud and what happens if it gets hacked, then you can actually use software to really simply automatically back that up to a separate cloud storage. So you can have 2 instances all backed up, all synced, all exactly the same information. So no conflicted copies, and all done automatically by using cloud and cloud storage backup. So hopefully I've explained why the use of local storage is now obsolete. Using cloud storage prevents you from losing your data, either by you losing your computer or getting it stolen or whatever, or somebody that's working for you saving stuff on their local drive, and either they delete it or they just disappear off the face of the planet and you then lose any of that work that's done. Using cloud storage also prevents conflicted copies, which means that you can be safe in the knowledge that the one copy you're working on is the single copy that you need, that everybody is editing, so you never have conflicted copies and you've got to then reconcile those afterwards. Cloud storage is the solution to those problems. So in summary, cloud storage is the solution to prevent you from losing data, either from your laptop or your computer breaking or getting stolen, or when an employee leaves your company or their computer getting broken. Cloud storage means that you have your information stored online, which means it's always available for anyone to work on, and it's always backed up to your local computer, so you can work on it offline. Other people can also work on it offline, but the key is it's syncing it up into the cloud always, so you can't lose that if something happens to your computer or your laptop. And as I said, you can always back it up as well to have a double copy of it in the cloud if you want. Cloud storage also prevents conflicted copies, so you can all work simultaneously on the document online, and it's synced automatically, so you never have that situation where you have multiple copies of a single document with all different edits on. You do this by never attaching things to emails, for example, never sending files to people by physical means, by always using an online version of the document, which then you can all edit. That is what cloud storage is all about. And if you use it correctly, it's an incredibly powerful tool. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about how you protect your data so that when somebody does some work for you, that you are the owner of that work. So they can't delete it by accident or maliciously, or when they leave the company, that you always retain ownership of that, so you continue to have it as an asset in your company and don't lose it when they leave.